Welcome to Meet You at the Top podcast with your host, Magda Wolski and
Elphi Bolombo.
If you're loving the content, guys, if you love listening, watching, please subscribe, like, share with your friends. It really does go a long way.
Yes, absolutely. So today, you guys, we have blood brothers here today. We have industry trailblazers. They are killing the fitness industry. Not only that, but they're doing big things. We have Talha and Faizan. Welcome to Meet You at the Top podcast.
Thank you. We're excited to be here. Let's dive right into it.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. So tell us a little bit about Sting Sports. I know it originated in Australia, you're in New Zealand, you're in Canada, you're in Denmark. How? Because I know you guys are both very, very young.
So basically, it's a family business, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have been in the sporting manufacturer industry for, I don't know how many years, over 10, 12 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before we were in cricket bats, soccer balls back home, my cousin actually founded the business in Australia in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
So around that time, we started from scratch. We slowly built the business. Our first breakthrough was actually the Rio 2016 Olympics.
Wow.
That's when we gained a lot of traction,
Yeah.
right? Cousin started expanding out to US, UK, New Zealand. So basically we have distributors all over the world, right? 2019, me personally, I was working a job, finished university and everything. And then pandemic hit right away. At that time, I was like, you know what? I want to do something different. We want to look into something else. So we started having talks among the family and stuff. So rang up my cousin. I'm like, what's going on, right? I remember we had a factory. How's things going? I, started following up on exactly what's going on. And he's like, honestly, we had a distributor in Canada appointed, but things weren't good. So distribution was cut for the past 3 years.
Wow.
So I was like, you know what? I love the sport. I like boxing. We're into the business game, right? So talk to me. Talk some numbers. Let's figure this out. So we sat down, we decided what to do exactly, and then, we came across the decision that, okay, we're going to sort of bring the brand back into Canada. So when we got it in 2019, it was already nil. Like, the brand was done, the hype was done for Sting. It came just by a little spark. The guy didn't do much, right?
Yeah.
So basically, had to pick everything up, fix the broken pieces, and then sort of get where we are now, and we're still shooting.
Yeah. Now, do you guys always do everything together, or what's that like, Talha?
We're just like a one-man team. Like, we're two people team, basically.
Yeah.
Like, from doing inventory, the marketing, talking to people. Honestly, the brand goes because of us. Like, we're basically Sting. It's our vibe. Like, you've vibed out with us. Like, how we do shoots, everything. We're just very engaging. It's not just how other brands treat their athletes or ambassadors. It's like a family environment. Like, we are a Sting. We're the face behind Sting. That's where the brand goes. And just we just sat down. Honestly, the way it started, we didn't know shit about business. We just dived right into it. Yeah. Me and him, we talked you hit a lot of bumps along the road, right? So the first thing was we're yo, we could sell activewear. Honestly, more than boxing. Not realizing the core is boxing and how things would go. So we got the activewear. Now we're shit, it's not moving. And then honestly, this is how the hustle started. I just had Instagram and I just started DMing people from my account, getting them on the Sting account. Hey, are you into activewear? And the crazy part is if you say hey to a girl, they usually think you're hitting them up.
Don't I know it?
So I'm like, hey, are you into activewear? And they actually got shook every time. They're just yeah, why? And then from there, I actually started generating organic sales, starting getting the brand, got the social media bumping, and then realized boxing is where it's at. Yeah. And then we had to change our whole strategy. And then because both of us, I think the business is taking over because it was a mindset change, to be honest. So we came into that fitness, the hustling, all that aspect, right? And then from there on, we're just yo, let's get it, fam. And
let's get it.
Let's get it.
And you're with your blood as well. So honestly, he's the only person I can trust. I couldn't have another partner in this business, right? So we kind of bounce off each other's energies, and it's just if he's operating at 100%, we create our own ripples, right? And then say if I'm at 90%, he's at 100, he's just yo, let's go, fam.
Yeah,
no slacking, man. You can't be sitting there. Just keep moving forward,
Yeah, absolutely. The energy is energying. Do you guys box yourselves?
Yes.
Yeah.
So more so, personally, I do for fitness purposes.
Right.
Some light sparring here and there, but competition haven't thought about doing it, but at the same time, I do have a side of me that's wanting to compete.
Yeah.
It's just more focuses on business, life right now overall. You know, there's certain priorities I'm keeping there, but definitely involved into the sport, watch all of it, practice, train every day. So it's part of it, right? It has to come with it. Like you said, when we started off, we knew nothing about boxing. Like I literally took the first class me and him ever took. We got gassed out. Like I was running 5-6 kilometers a day and everything. It was just like took that first class, 1 hour class, and it was just like, whoa, my fitness is shit. Plain simple word shit.
Yeah,
it was
honestly,
crazy though.
Like I was like working out for 2 hours and he's like, yo, I took this boxing class, you need to try. I'm like, okay. And he's like, yo, just take pre-workout just in case. 30 minutes in, like, I was like, yo, what is going on? And we actually took a class at Huff Gym as well. And like,
it's crazy.
Yo, they're crazy, like, boxers, honestly. So, like, towards the end, they have, like an ab workout, right? And you have to do a plank. So, I'm doing that plank and, like, I see the guy, hey, I found one or whatever. I'm like, yo, what is this guy saying, you know? Next thing you know, like, I see him kicking, like, people in the abs, like, while you're doing the plank. And then he's like, hey, I found another one. And now he's next to me. And next thing you know, I'm just getting kicked in the gut. I'm like, shit.
Well, when you guys invited us to your shoot for Sting Sports, literally the next day, Magda was like, girl, I cannot feel my arms. I was like, I know. That was like my third time. So I was like, I was prepared mentally. But she was like, girl.
Masha hurt for like 4 days. It was crazy. What would you say, like in terms of your brand, how do you guys differentiate between brands like Nike, Gymshark, and other ones like that?
I honestly feel, having the vision we have, we personally feel we're in that same category, and we're trying to build towards that, right? Yeah. Like Nike, Under Armour, Everlast, Hayabusa, all these top tier brands that are out there. Where we differentiate is obviously we're still starting off in a way in Canada, but globally we do have that presence where we are partnered up with a lot of boxing federations in amateur and Olympic boxing. We sponsored Olympic events, we sponsored Commonwealth Games. So there is a factor there where it's like where we're sort of more different is we keep it as young CEOs, me, my family, my cousin, whoever's the main board, right? We tend to be more involved at the front of the business where I'll be connecting with a direct customer. I'll be connecting with the B2B side of the customers. I'll be connecting with anybody and everyone involved in that community. So we're very forward in that sense, right? Whereas there is an opportunity to sit back and have sales teams deployed and have people doing this stuff. But we personally want to be involved because that's where the fun part is, right? Like going out, connecting with people, learning. You could learn something from everybody, right?
Absolutely.
Like be at whatever level we're there. Just even regular customers. Like I'll pick up the phone and call them like, hey, it's Faizan. Calling from Sting Sports. They're like, oh, who Faizan? Who? I'm like, I'm the owner calling. And they're like, oh, wow. Why are you calling me, right? It's like, oh, I just found your orders here. Just connect with people the best way possible, right? Because it's those are the things in life that sort of people will respect and remember down the road too, like 10 years down the road. Oh man, I spoke to this guy. Yeah. And it was a great conversation we had. So people remember that. That's where I feel we're sort of different when it comes to a lot of these brands, right? Just having that close-knit community that we're trying to build and obviously get to that grand scale as well, just similarly like these other brands. But yeah.
That's amazing. I could see that because even from when I met you guys, I was like, instantly, I was like, yo, these guys are dope. So kudos to you guys. So how does one break through in this type of industry? Because I know I follow a lot of fitness girls, and there was a girl who had like 1.2 million followers, and I seen Sting Sports in the background, okay? So how can somebody kind of break through in this industry? Like, what do you think is the most important thing that they need to do?
Honestly, it depends. Like, you do your market research, obviously, and then you see what your competitors are doing. But, like, obviously, you have to be in the industry and follow certain protocols. But you gotta add your own touch to it. So, like, with us, like, with the social media game, and we know how social media works because we're, like, the younger generation, right? So, we figured out how to, like, produce movies. Like, everything that we post on Instagram, like, has to have a purpose behind it. It's, like, motivational, but it has to be saucy. Like, it has to look different. It can't just be generic stuff, right? And especially with activewear and stuff as well. Like, it's not just workout videos. Like, I want some like a whole vision, and the whole vision that we have behind Sting is like, it's not like boxing. Yeah, you have core boxing and pro boxing, whatever. But we're trying to promote like box fit in Canada and show people like you can replace cardio with box fit, and like that's what we try to show in our shoots as well. Our shoots are not just people just posing or anything. We make them have like an engaging class, and then a lot of people actually who've been to our shoots, they actually pick up on boxing as well.
Yeah.
So that's how we do things differently.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
And it's like more also like market innovation in a way where we got to stand out and see what trends are sort of going on, right? And how you can sort of be different and sort of be a leader. So bringing newer product to the market, bringing a different angle, right? So that's what sort of propels us forward every time we sort of do something out of the box. It's like you're not just falling in that standard line of, okay, fall next in queue, just like another brand. So
Right.
you got to circle around and figure something out so people can sort of see that. And then social proof's a big aspect, right? Just how you said, like, there's a sting bag in this gym and there's a bag in that gym. And I feel like it starts getting adopted every time we sign up like promotion companies. Like we just signed a promotion company in BC, a couple here, right? Like Boxing Canada, Boxing USA, Boxing Ontario, all these federations and stuff. Every time we sign on a big presence in that community, it just brings you that extra wave of people who are like, okay, you know what? If the federations are working with this brand, there's definitely something going right here. So, and then we take a lot of pride in our product quality. So that's something that sort of sets us apart from everybody else. Yes, the stuff may be pricey, but we deliver the quality. You feel that you're wearing a $300 glove when you purchase that. And compared to a lot of other brands, certain brands are kind of overpriced.
True.
Delivering the same quality.
Yeah.
So that's where
And
it
built
sort
to
of
last.
break that market, you know? So
Yeah.
How would you say that your past experiences, because I know Talha, you were an engineer, okay, and Faizan, you were managing several stores.
Right.
How did your past experience help you with your path right now?
So honestly, for me, like as an engineer, like I work better under pressure, and like we focus on the solution to the problem, not just like tripping on what the problem is. A lot of people just like talk about what the problem is, they're complaining. For me, like I'm like, okay, there's a problem, how do I get around it? So I just apply that like mindset to everything in life, basically. So that keeps me moving. And like I said, like there's a saying like that I like pipes burst under pressure and diamonds are made under pressure. You choose which one you want to be, right? So that just like keeps me going, to be honest.
I love that.
Yeah. Now, how do you've mentioned that you guys are official suppliers for like Boxing Canada, Boxing Ontario. Do they reach out to you, or like how do you get into that?
So in that community, right, these federations, they're non-profit to a certain extent, right? Now, they do need support in an angle, and there's a certain certification called the IBA, which only a few companies hold, right? 4 to 5 companies all over the world make these amateur-approved gloves, the IBA, Amateur International Boxing Association, right? So we're one of those companies who has that certification, so that makes you qualify to supply Olympic and amateur boxing, right? So we obviously had a relation when my cousin first got Boxing Australia in, right? That sort of opened and when we did the Rio 2016 Olympics, that sort of opened the doors for all these federations where they're like, you know what? If we get a chance to provide like used Sting equipment, we know it's good. It's being adopted overall. So we sort of had meetings with obviously the directors of Boxing Canada, Boxing USA. I'm pretty close with the president of Boxing Canada myself, right? So he's a great guy. Yeah.
If it needs real estate, let me know.
For sure. I think he just bought a house too. So missed that opportunity.
Right?
But
I knew I should have spoke up sooner.
But yeah, basically, you know, it's relationship-wise as well. Like we have that mutual understanding with these federations that, you know, they have certain requirements. We'll fulfill them. But in regards, we do need a return in terms of, you know, a marketing proposition. We need that marketing real estate that they have to provide us. So it's just a working relationship in that sense where they understand our needs and we understand theirs, right? And then we make sure we deliver on time. We make sure we're giving the top quality stuff. And it's not where, like, personally, with why the federations like working with us in Canada, working with Boxing Ontario, Boxing Canada directly, right? Boxing BC. So it's like, it's kind of, me personally, how I do relationships, it's like, it's not very strict, hard and fast, like, you owe me this, I do this. No.
Right.
It's like, things slide by. It's understandable. It's life. It's business. Things move around. Let's work together. As long as we have good communication, as long as we're on the same page, we can make things work out, right? So that's essentially how we get to work with these guys. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that. So obviously boxing is kind of picking up in popularity. You have influencers like Jake Paul entering the sport. In your opinion, do you think that this is a benefit to boxing, or is it making it less legitimate?
Honestly, I think it's a benefit.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
tell us more.
a pro boxer like would say like, what the hell is going on, because of the work ethic and the amount of work it actually takes to like make it pro.
Yeah.
But it like motivates a lot of people to come into box fit. So like people are like, oh, a YouTuber can box and he can fight a guy like, you know, like not Mayweather, but like who did he fight? That was his brother, right? Like
Logan.
Yeah, Logan
Yeah.
or like Jake Paul, whatever. Like they put a lot of like traction to like pro boxing, but at the same time, like a lot of other YouTubers like KSI and this that open a gateway for them as well. So for us as a brand, obviously, like because we're like an equipment brand as well, and like the social media aspect of things, it is beneficial for us as well. But like for pro boxers, like there's two sides to a coin, right? Like everyone, like there's some people that are pro for it, and then like there's some people that just hate it, to be honest.
It's good for boxing overall, definitely.
Yeah.
But the sport of boxing is not dead. It's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger, as I would see. And we have a huge fight coming up, right? Tank Davis and Garcia. So
Yes.
one of the biggest fights that's going to go down.
Amazing.
Personally, so
Who's your money on?
I gotta say Tank. I gotta say Tank.
Okay.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia's like fast. Like
He's
you don't
good
know.
though. Yeah, he's great. Garcia's great, but if I was to put my money down, it's gonna be on Tank for sure.
Do you think there's a predetermined winner in boxing? Is it rigged?
I wouldn't say so. I don't think so. Nobody wants to step in the ring, get beat up. There's certain times, maybe certain levels, but as far as I see, certain like like fights like these, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't say pro boxing, but say like a Logan Paul fight, like maybe.
Right?
Those type of fights, yeah.
Right?
There's like a contract that probably goes down behind the scenes.
Because I feel like they live for entertainment. They live for, the spice. Yeah. I don't know if there's ever been any podcasters, but, maybe one day we'll step in the ring.
Magda versus Elphi. I would love to see that.
Not versus. We're a team. So we got to find other podcasters to
There's
verse.
no 2-on-2 boxing.
That's not wrestling.
Well, in that case, she gonna get the first one.
I'm winning every time.
No, but that's amazing. And, I don't doubt that your brand will be seen on the big screen, so keep doing what you guys are doing.
Appreciate it, yes.
So, I noticed you had a ring on your finger. So I want to ask, so first of all, you guys are 25 and 24? 27. Okay, 25 and 27. You guys are so young. I noticed that you're married. How is it like being a business owner and being married at a young age? Because I met several business owners that I'm like, dang, you almost pushing 40 and you're still not prioritizing a relationship. So how is that for you?
To be honest, I'm gonna find out in 20 days. But the whole process, being committed and leading up till here, and just thinking ahead of what the future is gonna be like. Obviously, I don't know exactly how I'm gonna manage it, but a good idea of how it's gonna work, right? It is tough. I can't lie. You're overworking all the time, right? Like, I'm working. Especially if you're also working I work at Shopify as well, right? I pick up shifts there too. So just to learn the e-commerce, because that's something I'm really into as well. So managing a relationship, knowing that I have these priorities that I'm gonna have with a wife, a family, dedicating that time and attention. Me as a man, that's my job to balance it out. I can't make my wife feel that I'm giving all the time to the business.
Right.
At the same time, I can't take time away from the business. So that's up to me how I got to manage it. So it is a tough road, but it's definitely doable. It comes down to like prioritizing and sort of being strict on your time slots. Like if something needs to be done from 12 to 2 and it's business related, your partner needs to understand that this is time that he has to dedicate, because at the end of the day, it's all the end goal is for everybody, right? The family, her, to take care of everybody, right? So it's a mutual understanding that both of you need to have that. Hey, I gotta dedicate this time here. Yeah. And then you're gonna have your time as well. So
how did you know she was the one?
It's different. I don't know, man. It's
men are not used to expressing their emotions. We want to encourage men to express their emotions.
She taught me a lot. I feel like, and then she bought the best out of me, right? Like I learned patience. I learned compassion, empathy, things that I sort of press down myself, my emotions, where it's like, you know, we're always told like, stay hard, keep going, don't express your emotions, keep moving forward, right? That's still my mindset. But at the same time, she opened me to these different things, and I feel a certain way when I'm with her. You know, she brings out a different side in me that nobody else probably sees, right? So
I love that.
and it's peaceful, it's a safe environment, you know, you feel comfortable, and like I see a future with her in terms of like we are gonna grow together to where we're gonna go. So yeah, it's like having that support system. You know, if I fall back, she's gonna pick me up and be like, let's get back up and let's go. You know, so
perfect.
Feels part of the family. Like I have my brother, I have my mother. You know, those are the strongholds. My father, like close immediate family, is my stronghold. She just feels like you're just adding on another force that's right behind you, always ready to go, right? So
love that. She's
that's
a rock.
sort of exactly right.
Yeah.
So that's sort of 3.5 years, and then it was just like it's about time.
Yeah.
You can't keep waiting.
Right. When you know, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Taha? You got anyone in your
It's
life?
in the works right now.
Yeah.
Okay, in the works.
In the works.
I feel like you're always up to something.
Yeah, I'm taking it slow though, like getting to know her and like figuring stuff out along the way. But like I think like it's so important to project your vision before getting married to your partner.
Yes.
And if they don't believe in that vision, then like you're gonna spend half your life just trying to make them see that vision. So like from the get-go, your partner needs to see and believe in your vision, because if she's not behind you and you're just on your own, like I believe like you're a team and you gotta work like a unit as well, right? So like so she understood the vision. So now the next step is to like,
Put
go
her
on
in
the
the
ride with her. Like, are you riding with me
Wow.
or no? Like honestly, just keep it real with her. Like, are you gonna ride for me or no?
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Just keep going. That's it.
How are you guys so mature when it comes to like these conversations? Because I feel like a lot of like young men in their 20s are they're not thinking like this. Like your mindset is different, and like I applaud you guys for that. It's so beautiful to meet young men who think like that.
I think it was just an accelerated lifestyle in the early years before the 20s, so we kind of just
So you had your fun.
wiped it all out.
Yeah.
But, honestly, it's just responsibilities, family. We came for a purpose here. We know where we're headed, what we want to do, right? It's it took some time to build that mindset and get to where we are at this point, but it's just a clear-cut vision from me on here that like life's too short. In a way, there's no time to waste, but there's also all the time to enjoy and take in life and appreciate it day to day as well.
Yeah.
It's a hard concept to grasp, but once you get that, everything else around, you start seeing it like there's no point for me indulging and wasting my time and energy here when I can put it into the right spots, investing in proper relationships, building proper, foundations with the close ones around you, and just cherishing and appreciating each other for these moments, right? It's just literally that's what it comes down to, and that you just sort of tune out all the bullshit. So.
Yeah.
Dang, I think I shed a tear. It's so cute. Oh.
Well, speaking of vision, what would you say is the biggest challenge you're facing now with growing the brand?
Great question.
Personally, diving right into it, I feel like it's just the stock flow of things with the whole economic situation, trade, imports, exports globally being sort of they're being restricted, where our factory is, and all that logistical problems is probably the biggest challenge in terms of like growth and marketing. We're facing so much demand that we aren't able to fulfill.
Wow.
So that's the biggest challenge I would feel. It's just a matter of time when we have a couple big shipments coming in. So as soon as those arrive and dock up, then we're ready to go, right? That's the biggest challenge we would be facing, unless
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's just because like our factories in Pakistan, right, and because of the political issue over there, there's like a shortage of like the US dollar and stuff, and then like it creates a whole issue with shipping, lag times and stuff. And obviously if you're like giving a promise to a client that I'm gonna deliver in this time, and then like some shit show happens, like you don't want to be in that position, like, because like for us, like business is like, it all depends on your word. Once you speak it, like it's a man's tongue. Once you say it, you can't go back and deliver what you promised. You know what I mean? So
much wisdom. I'm just like, I loved you guys before, but now I'm like, damn. Amazing. No, I totally agree. Speaking of your business, what is one of the biggest disagreements you guys have had along this journey? And how did you guys work through it? Because, partnerships, even ourselves, we're still learning what works, what doesn't work. what would you say is one of the biggest disagreements, and how you guys kind of figure it out?
Honestly, we don't disagree because I feel like that's just like you're attracting negative energy. We have a discussion. I'm like, hey, I think we should do this. He's like, oh, we should do this. And in the end, like he like has a different angle or a lens where he sees like different things as I'm gonna tell him this, and then we come to a consensus and we're like, okay, let's go. So like say like he's good at talking to a lot of clients. I'm good at like setting up things with clients. So say like Sky, like the gym, like that project, like I just knew how to infiltrate it. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, so how do I get this? How do I get people to see the brand? How do I get my boxing bags in there? So honestly, like as soon as I get the idea, like somehow everything just maps out in my head on itself, you know? And it's just about doing it at that point. Because if you think, nothing's gonna happen. And then I tell him I'm gonna do this, he's gonna tell me he's gonna do whatever, and we just do it. And we like, it's not even like we split the tasks, like it just happens, like because everybody has their like own like strongholds. So we just like kind of like, you know, go in our own streams and just like link up again and then make stuff happen.
Yeah, it's just like allocation of tasks and stuff like that. We don't set up certain things, like, you know, whatever falls into place and it just makes sense and is the most efficient way to do it. Like if I can handle all the back end stuff, handle the clients, talk to it, do the stock ordering and all that stuff, I'll do it, right? Something that needs to be done, if I'm focused on something, I'll walk up to him like, hey, this is left, just handle this, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
He gets it done, you know? So we sort of move in that operation. He tells me like, I'm going to do this, he's setting up the YouTube, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So it's just like it's just a natural unison, I would say. So, and
you guys
it
seem
just
very,
works out.
You guys seem very communicative as well.
Yeah. You have to be, right? Any partnership, and there's a plus point to it because we're blood brothers. So even if it's like we ever do feel like, you know, there's a void in certain areas where one person is putting in more work than the other, it doesn't bother either of us because it's like, you know what, at the end of the day, we're heading to the same direction.
True.
And then if there is something, like I'll have an open conversation with him, he'll have an open conversation with me. So we sort of keep it very neutral at all times, and it's just the focus is when it's work time, you know. We're like, yes, we're brothers instead, but when there's a task at hand, let's get it done. So that's sort of how we've been progressing, and it's been great, honestly. So
amazing.
Yeah, have no complaints.
Yeah. Well, speaking of open conversation, I gotta ask, because in light of what's going on in the world right now, how do you guys feel about trans men competing in the women's division for boxing?
Do I answer that?
It's a hack. Let's just say it's a hack. Look, I have nothing against it. In all honesty, I'm not one to support it as well. I just don't have a take on it. But if I were to give a view on it, to me, there's just male and female, and it's period. Right?
Yeah.
Point blank. Like it's not. That's the natural thing. That's the right thing.
Men are naturally just
genetically
stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like the whole concept of weight class just goes to shit then, right? Like there's a reason why people fight at 150. Like if there's a trans like person who's at 150 and there's a female at 150, like she's at a disadvantage, like genetically. It is what it is. Like you can make a looper around it or whatever, but like no, like you can't go against biology, right?
Well, let me tell you, if I'm in boxing and I have to fight a trans man, I'm telling you, I'm losing. I'm on the floor, okay? My ass is getting destroyed in that ring.
I can't lie, the first person to do it was pretty smart though, you know, won the 100K pot and whatever, competed, and it's a guaranteed win at that point, but it's not right.
I think it's all about, is it fair? You know what I mean? And if you look at
it's not.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, even if you're competing at 150, you're walking at like 180 or 170, and then you got to cut down. And it's easier for, I would say, like guys to cut down from a weight, like bigger weight, because like females aren't that hefty or like big bodied in that sense, right? So they kind of have to like work out and get to 150 as opposed to like a guy cutting down to 150.
Okay, so
speaking of hefty,
how do you guys feel about, you know, obviously inclusivity is important, all those things, but how do you guys feel about plus size models in the fitness industry? So, you know, we've been seeing a lot of plus size people teaching fitness.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Honestly, it's a good step because over time, gradually, naturally, if you're moving and you're burning calories and all that stuff, your body will see that change. I think it's a good way of encouragement.
Yes.
Because I feel like at a certain point, it's easier said than done when you're at that level of like, whatever your fitness level is at that point. Let's say you've hit that obesity point and it gets tough for a physical human body to move, and you sort of lose that inner motivation. We're like, I'm already this far. I don't know if I'm willing to put in all this effort, but just seeing that representation, me personally, I feel like it is an encouragement factor for everybody to be like, regardless of your size shape and whatever, you have to start somewhere.
Yes.
True.
That's what sort of it projects to sort of give that inclusivity factor, but at the same time, like, you're gonna work out to sort of get to a certain fitness point, right? Like, everybody has their individual and personal goals. So
True.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's good.
Definitely.
And now that you say it too, like if I'm putting myself in that person's position that may be a little bit obese or overweight, I might not feel comfortable being trained by somebody who's super fit.
Exactly.
So you just change. That is a good perspective.
Yeah. It's because people may mistake it that like, how are you saying fitness when you're not at your optimal fitness yourself? It's like, okay, like, we're getting there, right? It's a process. Like, you go to the gym, we all go to the gym, right? So it's like, you'll see difference over time, but of course you have, like, it depends on where you're headed, right? Like, I could be 300 pounds and come down to 200. To me, I'm still big, but I dropped 100 pounds.
Yeah.
True.
Someone who went from 200 to 180 is going to be like, oh, you're still 200, right?
Yeah.
You didn't see his journey. Exactly. So that's sort of how I see it. As long as you're truly putting in the effort and you're not just putting an activewear and put some water on your face and call it a day. None of those, but like, you gotta seriously put in the work.
Because on Instagram now, you just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really don't. Well, speaking of working out and activewear, do you think that the clothing that women wear to the gym, do you think it's a distraction for men? I'm talking about the sports bras.
In the gym?
I guess it depends what kind of man you are. Yeah. Honestly, for me, like, when I go to the gym, like, go in and out, like, it's like a bang out, right? You go in, you go hard, you push weight, you get out. But there's people that legit come to see girls and shit. It's weird. Like, I've seen people checking out girls and stuff too. I'm like, yo, bro, are you
get your workout in?
That's why your arms are small.
It's opposite for guys. I've seen people like look at me too, and like, there's been times where like random dudes or like girls or whatever, they're gonna come and they're gonna be like, do you box? And I'm like, I'm boxing in a room. Like, if you see the Elphi Fitness like setup, like, it's a room on this side. I'm like, are you watching me, or like, are you focusing on yourself? So I think depends from person to person, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even for myself, like, I go to the gym 5 days a week, and sometimes I'm like, dang, like, if you're gonna look at me that hard, just say hello, because at this point you're distracting me, because you can feel it. You know?
Like, you call people up?
No, I look at it like, whoever you meet, it could be an opportunity. You never know, but I don't, like, if I feel like you're looking at me in a way where it's like sexualizing me, then like, I feel like I just give off the vibe like,
no.
This is you gonna pick the right one today. Like, I feel like for the most part, I have never been disrespected in the gym, because that's how I hold myself to that level. Like, I'm not playing with you.
Right. So I have a question. So, like, obviously, like, it's annoying if a guy's looking at you, but would it be the same thing if like nobody's like checking you out? Like, would you be like,
I wouldn't say it's annoying. Like, I think women appreciate, but there's a difference between like, you're walking, you're like, okay, and then the difference between like,
oh, it can be creepy.
Well, I will say one thing, when, let's say, before my boyfriend, I would wear like sports bras and things like that, I'd get looked at. But when I wear like t-shirts, no one's really looking at me like that.
True.
So I think in a level, women do like that attention, because it's what we crave. And if you have a nice body, you want to show it off, like, it's flattering for women, but it's not flattering if you come off creepy, right? So there's like a fine line, I think.
Very thin fine line.
I will say too, not gonna lie, like, when I wear nice activewear like what you guys have, I go harder in the gym. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I feel like the body's bodying, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, this, I'm going harder just because I feel like you feel put together.
Yes.
So
it does help, like, even like when we're training arms, you want to pull the sleeve up and see all the cuts. It makes you go harder. So it, like he said, it depends from person to person, but I feel like it does also help like fitness models as well. Like, if you're if you're working hard on your ass and it's looking good, you want to work harder, right? You're working hard on a certain body part and it looks good. You want to work harder on towards that. So yes and no. It's a very like Magda said, very thin fine line.
Yeah. Now, do you think? I mean, just kind of bouncing off of that. Do you think women and men should be working on the same environment?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yes, it's personal preference. I would say it's just if you're comfortable in an all women's environment, then that's the better for you. And then if you're okay with working in a co-ed environment, that's okay for you, right? So that's my take on it. I think it's okay. It's all personal preference.
Yeah. Do you think guys go harder in the gym when there's women around?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think guys
ego lifting is because of that. I think.
Like, I think it gives them that extra pump because I'm not even joking. I see some guys that are like on their phone. The minute I walk by, they're like. I'm like,
what does that do for you, though? Honestly, if you see a guy just going hard, are you like?
I'm like, bro, I seen you on your phone literally 5 seconds ago. You were not going this hard, you know. But it's good. Like I think the reason why we have men and women is because yin and yang. You know, we give that fuel to each other. Right. You know.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
it is a motivating factor for sure.
Absolutely.
People want to. You don't want to look like you know, like you're a little weakling.
Yeah,
like she's pushing hard. Like my girl, she's like hip thrusting like 350 pounds. And just like
good for her.
I did a plate and I was just like, this exercise is not for me. Like you know, it's tough. You know?
She knows how to work those hips. Huh? Now, speaking of women, do you think watching women box is just as entertaining as men?
Yeah, for sure.
Love that. Yeah, there's some beasts.
Yes. Oh, yeah. There's Serranos, there's so many. Katie Taylor, they're really, really good boxers, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, me personally, I like watching heavyweight fights the most in person because it's just it's a straight slug out, you know?
Yeah.
But there is the beauty and obviously the other weight classes as well, because then you're seeing more of a lot of IQ, a lot of technique, the movement, the footwork. There's a lot of aspects to each weight class, but same thing goes with women as well, right? It's entertaining both ways. Who wouldn't want to see a knockout, male or female, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what's one piece of advice that you guys each can give our viewers and listeners? I'll start with Talha.
Honestly, just be who you are. Stay focused on your goals and be action oriented rather than just talking. And then have certain morals that you have. What's your purpose? Our purpose behind what's your purpose behind the grind? A lot of people that when they talk about grind, it's all about just money, whatever. We have a bigger purpose than that.
Wow.
We gotta put the family on. Us being Muslim as well. We want to make a mosque as well. Watch out for the community because that's what our faith actually teaches us as well. Right. Especially because it's the month of Ramadan as well.
Yes.
Both me and him are tweaking on the same page, right? So that's what have your morals down. Don't change just because the world is a messed up place. Don't become messed up with it. Still make your own ripple, you know?
Yeah. Ooh, I love that.
Because I've seen for example, say people after a breakup or anything like that, they change and kind of lose a part of themselves. And then it's very important to come back to the person you were before all that shit show happened. You know what I mean? And people kind of lose themselves in the process. So you got to realize who you are, what your morals are, how you were raised, and stick to that. No matter who comes in your life, whatever happens, you got to be constant. And even as a man, I feel in any kind of scenario or relationship, you have to be constant.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be changes, especially say when it comes to females as well. Obviously there's hormonal changes or whatever. So one piece of advice to any people out there, just be constant, as to who you are.
Wow. I love that.
And like he said it, Mr. Brother said it all.
Yeah. So, hard to follow up after that one.
Just to add on to that, it comes down to consistency.
Yeah.
Stay consistent. You will see results. Failure is a lesson. There is no losses. There's only lessons, right? And just don't ever don't doubt yourself. People are gonna tell you all sorts of stuff. Tune all that stuff out and just see what's within you. Believe in yourself. That's step number one, and then just keep moving forward towards what you're really destined to do, and have faith. And again, back to the main thing is consistency and discipline is key to get where you want to get. Without those two things, you're not gonna follow. Motivation will only take you so long, right? Like you're not gonna feel great at days, but that's the time where it's like, tune all that out. I still gotta get this done. So I feel like that's the way you're gonna progress and keep going forward. Yeah.
And honestly, if you're trying to make it, like, you have to take a risk. And like, whenever you get an idea, don't ponder upon it too much. Like, if it came in your head, like, there's a reason why it came in your head in the first place. You know what I mean? It's not just, it just doesn't happen out of random. You're kind of attracting what you like believe in. And like, if you have that idea, act upon it. Because like, if you don't, it's gonna go away, and maybe it could be the best idea that you had in your head, and like, you didn't act upon it.
Yeah.
Gotta chase that dream.
100%. Be confident, be ambitious, stay humble.
I love that.
Stay humble though.
Yeah,
Thank you so
God
much.
can take it away like that, you know?
Oh,
Stay humble.
100%.
So,
You can't get arrogant.
biggest
Like,
thing.
you have to be humble.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. That was so insightful. Before we end the segment off, where can the viewers and listeners find you online?
Stingsports.ca, Instagram, website's the same, stingsports.ca. Follow us, like some posts, keep tuned, right? We have great giveaways, a lot of big things happening. So stay in touch with the community. Ever have a question, message us, DM us. We're open to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah, all platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Amazing. And for the boxing community, as well as anyone that works out, do check out Sting Sports. Their activewear is hot.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Top notch.
It's top notch, good quality, and yeah, you can really tell that you put a lot of thought and, you know, work into your own brand. All right, Elphi, close us off.
It is Meet You at the Top podcast. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe. We really appreciate. Like I said, Meet You Top podcast. We will see you guys there.
Meet you at the top, yeah. Magda and Elphi on love.